Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about Management Support System. It's also known as MSS. It's like an information system, so they help the companies and organizations to make decisions. There are different kinds of it, so each of them they have a unique goal. So to start with it, we're going to talk a little bit about the phases of decision making. According to Simon, we can see on our textbook, he talks about the three major factors that can affect the decision making. The first one is intelligence. This one talks about like finding the problem, trying to figure out where they have to make the decisions and bring the solutions, how they're gonna approach the problem. Second of all, they talk about the design. The design is basically when they're like giving like options and like looking for alternatives to bring a solution to that company, to that organization. So let's say they're having problems with the sales, so they're gonna look, they're gonna collect data, and they're gonna see options so they can bring the solution. So the third one is the choice, like it says, they're gonna choose which option from design is the best one so they can bring the solution to the company. The fourth one that Simon says it can be added, but he always talks about these three major ones. It's the implementation. It's basically putting this in action, all of these plans in action. Now we're going to talk a little bit about decision support system. It's the DSS. It's composed by hardware, software, data, and models. Basically, the three major parts of it, it's the database, the model base, and the user interface. So we can see some benefits and some costs in the textbooks, according to Peter. And according to him, the DSS has to be based on value and not on the cost. It can save a lot of time. This is one of the examples that we can see on a textbook. So let's say the marketing manager is taking like 2 hours to solve a problem, to get like information. If they have the DSS, they would solve this problem right away. So these are some benefits from the DSS. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the executive support system. This one helps a lot of the executives, so they support them, they work with them, they give them database, like internal database and external database, and they also give them like a lot of details about it. So it helps them like making decisions through like digital dashboard and stuff like that. So the reasons to have the EIS, it's basically giving the executives, like the decision makers, a lot of like details. Like they can give them in like a different like formats. They can give them like different like database, like internal and external database. They can give them like graphs and all of that. They work with like technology, so can help them like communicate with each other. Now we're going to talk a little bit about GSS. GSS stands for Group Support System. Group Support System associate with like the groups, the teams that work with the groups, so they can help the company to make decisions and all of that. So basically this one's about technology, computers, and communications. So how the teams, they talk to each other, how they talk to the company, the organization, and how they're gonna make decisions. This one helps a lot. Let's say they have a problem with like communication. Someone's from Brazil like me, and some other people is from like America. So they cannot travel right away, so they can just make calls and stuff like that. So it helps a lot. Like the technology helps a lot, so they can have meetings and stuff like that. These meetings are called electronic meetings systems. So it helps them to be very like quickly making decisions. So they're always together, and like through emails, like calls, like FaceTime, and all of this stuff. So finally, we're gonna talk about the last ones, the geographic information system. So like the name says, this one's about like the location, geographic. So this one helps people to like decide, oh, here's the right place so I can open my store, right? So I can have more customers. Or here's the right location so I can open the airport, so I don't harm that much the environment. So these are some examples that we can see in the book, and it helps us understand. So one example that will help you guys a little bit understand about the GIS, it's Google Maps. I bet you all use Google Maps. So Google Maps is a great example of GIS. To finish this video, I would like to share with you guys a little bit of my story. So last year in the summer, I did my internship at Honda, the company that works with cars. So I did my internship and I worked a lot with like making decisions and work with like the manager and learning a lot about database and how it's important. So last year, the problem was like the sales. So we want to like reach more people, reach more customers. So I was in charge of it. So I collected all of the data from the past 4 years. I looked at all of the papers and I put all of those numbers and like all of those names and addresses, everything into Excel, and we had like a database through that. And then we have like graphs, and I made graphs so it would help like the manager and the employees to see, okay, we're not reaching those people, what can we do? So first of all, we start with the intelligence. So through this process, we can understand a lot about Simon's process. Like, it's very important to understand that and see how, when you make a decision, it's like very important, because the intelligence is the first step. And the first step is to see like how you're gonna approach the problem, how you're gonna solve that, right? So that was the first thing. So we saw the problem, and then we had the database. So I had the database, we had like the graphs and all of that. After we have the design, so after that we were coming up with like options. Okay, how we can solve this problem, how we can reach those people. So we're talking all of that, and the third one is the choice. So we choose one. So we chose to, we're not reaching like other people in some places. So we're like, okay, let's do this. And I did a study in my city, the places that people are like rich, and the places that we're not reaching those peoples. So because Honda in Brazil is very expensive, so usually people that buy Honda in Brazil are people that are like, they have like a high income. So our strategy to reach those people was to like deliver magazines to their houses, talk to them like face to face, like a salesperson. And I did that with like other employees, and also we emailed them, we called them a lot. So we established this relationship with the customer. Like, we have this customer management relationship. So we're trying to establish this relationship with the customer, like telling them we care about them, and hey, come see our product and stuff like that. It worked a lot. We did like our database, we have like graphs up after that, and it worked, and we were selling more cars and more cars. So I just want to let you guys know that this process is very, very important. And if you guys look at the Simon's process and all of the information systems in the book, they're going to help you a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you.